everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. What's up? What's up? What's up? Our first one that we're doing together on Twitch. So if you guys watch the podcast on Twitch sometimes, we did like a shared chat where it's me and Croncy on Twitch instead of just on my channel. So hopefully that works out well, and hopefully we can get it better. But on YouTube, it's just on YouTube. So the podcast, if you guys are new here, it is a podcast where we talk about like what's going on in Star Citizen and open up the calls to you over Discord. That's the whole answer the call part. And this week, I gotta say, it's a bit of a slow week. Not much happened. I literally messaged Croncy and went, what are we going to talk about today? And he was just like, all right, here's a couple topics that are pretty obvious. And I'm like, yeah. But yeah. And I think that's where we are this week.
To be fair, I think there was one big piece of news that there's just not a lot to talk about with.
Yeah, I think we can probably talk like maybe 10 minutes on it at the most. And
yeah,
that's Citizencon, so we'll get to that. And then there's some other thingies that were going on. If I can, if you're watching on YouTube a little bit or been watching on Twitch, we just talked about it like 2 seconds ago. But since the last podcast, we turned in the Wikelo Polaris on Monday for a world's first thing. And I know world's first in an alpha video game is whatever, but giving ourselves some goal to work for in a game that typically has very few goals was really enjoyable and really fun. And for those of you who are saying that we exploited, I could say the only thing that would be loosely considered an exploit is the caves didn't close sometimes, and that they would like respawn minerals. But most of the minerals that would respawn would not be Karenite. So whatever. We played 18 hours a day every day. People weren't sleeping. They were just taking naps. And like, that's what we did for 4 or 5 days. Like, I don't care what anyone is saying on the internet. We earned that fair and square. Holy.
Even in that specific instance, like, what do you expect them to do? Leave?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, guys, normally closed right now. We should leave. Like,
you still have to cover the cave too. Like, you still have to hold the cave. Somebody could take it from you if it doesn't close, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So there was that, and then I was kind of tasked with the Quantanium side, and it was really amazing. So we bought Quantanium from players, we mined it, and we got it from VHRTs. So 1,200 Quantanium we got in about 24 hours. It was pretty sick. And I would say maybe 300 of the Quantanium was bought from players, so most of it was earned through grinding. But guess how long it took for me to turn in?
I don't know. It's either a really long time or not a long time.
6 hours. 6 hours to turn in for various reasons. CIG thinks, and everyone has suffered from this doing these events, CIG seems to think that if I'm at a given location, that I probably want a mission across the galaxy for some reason, right? Like, I'm at Wikelo in Microtech, but they keep giving me the mission that I'm trying to complete at Wikelo somewhere else. And it was like between a 2 to 5 minute timer to get the next version of that to pop up after you've abandoned. So and then there's 3 choices, so you have to get lucky. Like, one time I had 2 or 3 in a row, and that was it. And oh, my feed is dark. I'll turn up my lights. It's usually not that bad. I see somebody saying that. Bam, that's probably back to normal. It was just I want my eyes, and I was tired, and I didn't want bright lights on me. So yeah, it took 6 hours to turn in. It was brutal.
That's pretty crazy.
And I'm just gonna say this: no bugs that caused significant amount of time slowdown. It was straight up just interacting with the mission system. That's it. That's what caused all the time. I had to turn in I don't know what the number is, but it was 1,200 divided by 24. So is that 20 missions, I think? Something like that. And it took 6 hours. That's crazy. It should not be that way.
Yeah, that's wild. That it is surprising that it does not just give you the mission at the location that you are, because it does that for other stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
But then they have missions that don't do, like when you were trying to do the 6 out of 6. How many times in Pyro were you like jumping across system, going to all the different, Monarchs, to Pyro 1, to Terminus, to just finish the mission types? So it's just like, guys, can we stop doing this, please? Is there any way to just avoid doing this? That is my like biggest feedback issue around like general mission stuff. Is like, if I'm in an area, I want to be in that area. Like, entice me out of the area occasionally, but if I'm there, tell me what I can do there, and if there's missions that can be done,
especially for something that is straight up a turn in.
Exactly. It's just goofy. It's just goofy stuff. So yeah, and that's enough about last week. I don't know, what have you been up to since the last pod, as far as SC or life in general goes? What have you been up to?
Yeah. So I normally stream some SC on Wednesday. The second I went into stream, they did the maintenance. So it's the first time that the maintenance has absolutely shafted me. I'm still glad it exists, but now that's going to be a pain point for the rest of my life, unfortunately. Yay, Australian time zones. And so I only got to play today just before the podcast. Finally got to do the April Fool's Kill Collector and check out the Easy Hab, which was very cool but very buggy.
Yeah.
But it is kind of dope to have just like a fun little area like that.
Goofy fun.
Yeah, exactly. So
good goofy fun.
Big fan of that. And then we actually went on to we stayed in Arena Commander all day today because everyone has just been telling me that that a lot of mine is just not working for X number of different reasons.
I couldn't even get out of my hangar, so I literally just said no today. Nope.
Yeah, exactly right. And so we just stayed in Arena Commander because EchoBit just released a map for like a track map for trying to remember the name of the map. It's the new one. It's the Theaters of War one.
Crossroads of Crime.
Crossroads. Yeah. So Crossroads of Crime. So we actually did a bunch there, and it's really fun. I highly recommend it. Go check out the Crossroads of Crime track map that EchoBit has made. I recommend doing it on Gravlev. It's the most fun, in my opinion, on that track. And,
I will have to. I will have to check that out. I haven't seen it yet.
It's good.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
And then,
that was my Star Citizen this week. That was kind of it. Obviously, there was a lot of news like coming in throughout the week that was interesting. Which we'll get into that now, I guess.
Yeah.
Before so
we do, real quick before we do, I had a 7-hour fight in Eve yesterday.
Nice. Did you win?
Yeah. It was like a kind of like home defense thing, but it was like time dilation, the whole actual Eve experience.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I was expecting that some sort of war was going to be happening with you. After the podcast last week, Mike was like, "Holy crap, Duncan's blowing up my chat. He's saying we're getting attacked, and I need to get in the game right now." So I'm not surprised that you've had a bit of a fight.
Yeah, some enemy for anybody who understands Eve, they'll get this, and if you don't, I will go very, very quick. Somebody just dropped a keep star in a system between us and Fraternity, who's like our closest rival in the area. They just plopped it right in between both of our spaces to try to entice both of us to go and fight there, and they just full sended it and went crazy, and we fought them off, but nobody else ended up coming in and fighting. So it was a good time. That was my first experience with that, and just made me both appreciate Star Citizen and the way they're kind of going about things with like, fuck it, we're just going to limit the amount of people that can be in a server because we don't want to do something like that with time dilation because it's just ass. And then at the same time, it made me not appreciate Star Citizen as much because, wow, the stakes were like incredibly high and everything mattered. And that was just like a wow moment. And I played Logi, which is apparently, like super hard thing to do. And I just found it like what I love to do now as far as PvP in that game. And that's that. So
I'd love to see more logistics type roles come into Star Citizen, but I don't think we'll see that type of logistics ever come into the game because that's very like almost turn-based MMO type stuff.
It's literally like a magical heal button, so it's like we can't really have that. I would love to see that exist in some way, but have it exist in a way that makes sense in Star Citizen, but I have no idea how it would be, right? So But that was it. We'll jump into the news. What do you want to start with?
Let's start with the big one.
Okay.
So we were eagerly awaiting Citizencon news. Last year, they pretty much told us in January that it was, going to be in Manchester. It was going to be October, blah, blah, blah. So it was actually like kind of late, kind of delayed that they hadn't told us anything about it yet.
Well, they told you that they were doing it in Manchester
at the beginning. Yeah, the beginning of last year, I think it was Sandy Roberts tweeted out a confirmation that it was going to be in Manchester and it was going to be in October.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so we didn't get like an official launch until months later, but there was the like, it's happening like here and roughly this time.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, and so they hadn't announced anything this year yet. So, like I said, yeah, so it was a little bit late, and they have announced we're doing a digital. No big CitizenCon meetup this year, which is disappointing. And there's actually there is quite a few things to talk about it in regards to this post and also like what it could mean.
You can speculate so much, right?
You can, yeah. So me coming from an events background, the value of having an event like this matters way more than some people might think. Like the one that's obvious is like money making. Obviously, while the event itself won't make a lot of money, it does tend to lead to people spending more money on the game.
Sure,
that's a big one. But the actual community building that it becomes a result of these kinds of events really does a lot for the game. So to say, we're not doing the physical this year is a big deal from the back end. The question is, does it mean that they are in fact reallocating those resources to
Squadron?
Squadron and all that sort of stuff? I would hope they are, but that's the stuff. They would spend normally months for them to get ready for CitizenCon. They are taking people off items for a certain amount of time so that they can get ready to present for CitizenCon and whatnot. When you are essentially turning that into a glorified long ISC, and when I say that, they are good. Like the last two digitals that we had were pretty good, but they obviously take a lot less work than a big CitizenCon does.
Yeah.
Then there's going to be dev resources there. So, yeah, I'm sad because I don't get to go to a CitizenCon, but if this does mean what it should mean of they're close.
See, I look at it differently. If they were close, they would be shouting from the rooftops and doing a CitizenCon all about this. I would think.
Well, yeah, if they were like close, yeah. Like if they were like a few months away, 100%. Like the value that you get from marketing on that stage, for sure.
Sure, right? Like this basically tells you it will not be a holiday 2026. Like it will not be Q1 2026. It will be probably holiday 2026. I said that backwards. Like the following, like towards the end of 2026 rather than the beginning, is what that's telling you, which means a whole nother year probably of the year of playability bullshit and whatever we're getting right now, which is both awesome and really crappy at the same time. Constantly getting patches is quite nice, but what's in the patch is just kind of sometimes not great. And so hopefully we get out of this phase quite quickly. That would be nice, but it looks like it won't be as quick maybe as we were hoping.
Yep. The second thing to consider is there probably just isn't as much stuff for them to show about Star Citizen that they haven't showed already, because they are focusing more on playability. Yeah, there's not a lot of concepting going on right now, right? So there'll be stuff. I imagine there'll be some things, but not as much as we got at last year's CitCon or the year before. So like that also de-incentivizes them from doing an in-person one. So yeah. That's kind of it. Like it's a little bit disappointing just because it is such a cool event, and it's by far like the biggest community building they do the entire year. But it should be good news. Hopefully.
Yeah, they kind of like blew their load last year, and it's just like, what can you do? You haven't delivered anything from that, essentially. You've not delivered a lot of things from CitizenCon 2023. So what can you show at CitizenCon this year that wouldn't be a repeat of that other stuff anyway? So
exactly,
like, what do you think it's going to be? Like just a basically what we saw in 21, just like kind of a leveled up ISC, and hopefully not Chris and Rich Tyrer talking for 2 hours at the end after you're already exhausted. That was awful.
I think it'll be more like Citizencon 2022.
Is that what it was?
Where it was a lot. So 2021, they had the keynote where it was Pyro 3 and the 400i like flew down to Pyro and like they did the demo thing. I don't think it's going to be like
clouds,
that.
Right?
Yeah, I think it'll be more like 2022 where it was just kind of like a bunch of mini ISCs. It was like a bunch of 30-minute ISCs.
Yep.
Which is fine. I think that's sort of the way to do that. Specifically,
I
think they show a bunch of nicks and sort of start to get us ready for that. And then probably just a bunch of mission content is probably where we're seeing. Like, if they are continuing the process of we're not going to focus on features, we're going to focus on content. The like interesting content is armor, missions, locations, right? And that's about it. So,
yeah, I wonder. Like features, I just wonder what we'll see. Will we see the state of base building? Will we see the state of engineering at this time? Will we see crafting or something? Like, because I just look at this year is I feel like they could take what they did last year and take them out of the PowerPoint and put them in something that is, in engine or in something that it looks like it's an experience that might be happening soon. Possibly a test preview channel of some kind around that time that might be exciting. I think those are options that they can do. But yeah, I mean, if I had desires and hopes of what the Citizencon will look like, that's what it would be, is no PowerPoints, basically an ISC, which is usually showing what's coming very soon and showing stuff in game with the devs talking about it, not them having to go up on stage and do a PowerPoint in 30 minutes in between them because they have to set up the next one and all that, right? It'll be nice and condensed. It'll be the devs will get to say exactly what they want to say, how they want to say it, instead of going up there and maybe mumbling a little bit or saying something a little bit confusing. Like they get to watch this back and say, maybe we should say it this way instead. So these questions don't get asked, right? That's why I kind of prefer this method. Is how often do you come out of an ISC like super confused? Like not that often. And sometimes like, this last Citizencon with like things like insurance and stuff like that. People had a lot of questions, still do, and a lot of them remain unanswered. So I just kind of prefer this, but I loved last year's Citizencon. Like I really did. It was fantastic. Yeah. So I love both, but in terms of like where we are right now, this is probably this certainly is the right way to go. And I think it'll take a lot less time away from the devs. Way easier to just sit down and talk about your work than having to put together a PowerPoint presentation and, all right, we got to get this footage and so on. Nah, this should be a lot easier is my guess. And hopefully it is. And I think that's probably
it is also once again, sort of like there's a positive aspect of this of like I said, they make a lot of money from doing live Citizencons. Once again, the Citizencon itself does not make money, but all of the funding around that, all the ships that they release around that, people will spend more money on. Them not doing that says that they are prioritizing game. Like they are prioritizing game more than quick buck in the in the
just
short
depends
term.
on what game. That's it. Like, will that game affect us, or will it affect hopefully the future players of Squadron? So we'll see. I think the answer to that's both, but yeah. Another thing I just noticed here, it'll be free to watch on both Twitch and YouTube. Last year they did not stream on YouTube, so that's an update from this past year. So that'll be good. Yep. And outside of that, they haven't told us.
I think they actually for years they haven't done it on YouTube. This might be one of the first times, if not the first time, that they do it simulcast.
Yeah,
that's great. likely because a lot of stuff with like Twitch TOS had changed. Yeah.
I don't know, or whatever software they use or something like that, but it's good to know that they'll be on both because YouTube streams just tend to be better quality and less.
They have a lot more following on YouTube. Like
it's just true. But having 40K on Twitch, like this will be interesting just from a content creator's perspective. is splitting up your audiences might do worse for them in a case where you're trying to advertise. I don't know. I'm curious how this will end up.
It'll be fine. People are saying that last year was on both, but it should be fine.
It wasn't, but okay. Trust me, it wasn't, because I was live streaming it, and I really would have rather been on the YouTube stream than on the Twitch stream, and it wasn't. At least I couldn't find it. But anyway, that's that. I mean, we managed to talk much longer about that than I expected, but that's all that happened. Everything else is kind of pretty much nothing burger stuff. Do you want to go through the crappy stuff first, or like not the crappy stuff, but the quick stuff?
What do you consider the quick and crappy stuff?
Test Universe Champions, subscriber promo.
Yeah, sure. I don't super even know much about it, really.
The only thing I want to point out with Test Universe Champions is they did a lot of like rewards for people, but for things they did it slightly different than they've done in the past. Is the people who got the RSI Zeus Mark II, yes, are people who crossed authority servers the most. So just like a general, like, holy crap, you play the game a lot, right?
Yeah,
and,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then they did other, like, who took out the most security turrets. Like, you can't determine what these things will be to abuse them to try to earn the ship. It's just like, thank you for playing, because being in the server and playing it all is actually probably the best data that they can have, right? And then, most amount of ship services and average amount of time spent on missions. What was this one? Most closely matched severity rating of the reports. Oh, okay. Like you did reports well. You didn't say it's like a game-breaking bug when it's not, and things like that. So no most amount of duplicates was in here. This was a big pain point on the SCL that one day with Benoit that I like lost my mind, because he was like, no, there's no issues with that. And it was like, bro, you better get with it. And even Jared saw the chat and was like, no, there are problems with this, so you better check into it. And they are not rewarding that bullshit, to say the least. So that's where it's at for me. But yeah, I don't know. So that's all I wanted to point out is, one other tiny thing right up at the top. We have a robust incentivization program planned down the road, but in the short term, we want to draw a special spotlight on some of our top testing creators with the rewards to boot. They're trying to incentivize us playing in the PTU for the exact reasons that you and I experienced this morning on live. Not enough people play the PTU. They can't possibly stress test it in the PTU. It goes live. That is the stress test. And obviously the thing cracks and breaks. Like, I don't necessarily blame all the issues we're having on like CIG horrible management. How does this work? How do we get the server stress tested without that? Their idea is to incentivize something in the PTU. I'm not I personally, I don't like testing. Like, I'm not here to test. I'm here to have a good time. Video games are supposed to be fun. And I don't think I'm in the minority here. I think I'm in the majority. Video games should be fun. Playing on extraordinarily broken builds and not working ones is not fun. Who wants to do this? You will not incentivize anybody to play this. Like, you just won't. You won't incentivize enough people to play this.
Yeah.
No matter what you do. So just stop saying the game's playable and call it what it is and treat it like what it is, I guess, at this point, and just do what you need to do. Like, that's just how I feel. Do what you need to do to get us out of this alpha phase as quickly as possible. Just do it. Yeah. Like, that's it, man. That's my feeling on it. But I don't know if you have anything to add.
For sure. I just don't put a lot of credibility into that sentence of them saying that they're going to put an incentivization program into it. Because they've said something similar about creators in the past, that they were going to do like a non-incentivation, but they were like, we're going to do like a partner program type thing. And that was like 3 years ago, I think, was when I last heard about that.
Did you have a golem to give away?
Yeah, no, they said they were going to do something else. Like that's what they've been doing for years.
Yeah.
they said they were going to do like a specific thing, but that
they
never
even
happened.
say that
So
there
like
is
any of those
no.
sort of like things.
They say there is no partner program, yet they have their select group that they give stuff to give away. So it's like they do, but it's not official.
That's the thing. It's like super loose because it's just like an email list, right?
Yeah, it's
But
just
yeah.
not official.
But yeah,
or
I'd like
whatever.
we'll see what it happens when it happens. In a similar story though, because we actually, I think this happened this week as well, right? The referral rewards program is changing, and people are mad about the referral rewards change. So
I think rightfully so. I'll bring that up. That's not one of the ones I have.
I'm iffy, but it's going to depend heavily on what it actually is, right? We haven't actually seen the program yet. So they also did a post this week saying, yeah, like we're going to be getting rid of the current system, bringing in some new rewards, and doing something different. And then like I believe they explicitly say like whatever your current referrals are will essentially be wiped. Like everyone goes back to 0.
Yes, and that's what people were mad about.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Yeah.
That specific thing.
Yeah. I do want CIG to give us free stuff all the time, genuinely. I don't know. I just feel a little weird about hating the program before seeing what the actual rewards for the program are. But like I get like if you're like one referral reward away from getting a Gladius, I get it. Like that sucks. That really sucks. But at the same time, those people are saying like I've been playing for 15 years and I can't convince this 10th person to join. It's like the new referral system may be easier for you or whatever, right? So that's why I'm like I don't know, but
I get what you're saying there,
I guess it can still suck.
I doubt they're going to give a Gladius to referral rewards or something. Right?
That's fair, yeah. I think I'm just salty that other creators have more referrals than me.
Bring
everyone back down to 0.
I'm proud of how few I have. I'm super proud of how few I have.
How many have you got?
345.
All right, I've got like 30.
It's just I would have probably 2,000. I would say if the referral program started when I started streaming.
Yeah.
I've gotten 345 by just having it in the YouTube description on my videos. That's
that's fair. That's pretty much the only place I put it as well.
I don't promote it on my Twitter. Like I don't promote it at all. It's just there, and I don't know if people like know how YouTube works too much, but like you can have a like the same description pops up in every video. So I just put it there, and it's just there. I haven't changed much about it, and so I don't do too much.
But yeah,
there.
like I said, I understand.
I'm affected
like,
pretty bad by this.
Close.
I'm affected pretty bad by this because it goes from 200 where you get like, I think Vandal ships, and then the next one is 500. So I'm like kind of halfway to 500, and I'm going to lose 145 referrals of progress essentially.
Yeah.
If I actually gave a shit, I would be upset, but I don't care because I don't think the game is necessarily a game you want to refer to people at the moment. It's definitely at the moment, right? In the stage that we're in right now, where it's like, holy crap, we got to get the game generally functioning. You don't want to tell people to go play this game right now. You want to tell them, hey, check it out. Wait, CIG is not even willing to do free flies. If CIG is not willing to do free flies, then why should we be promoting other people to play it, right? So that's where I'm at. But
I also I don't promote people to get rewarded by ships. Like you know what I mean? Like the rewards are kind of a secondary thing. If I am referring it to someone, it's because I know that they'll enjoy it. Rather than anything else.
Well,
but
speak for yourself.
Again,
I think some people actively try to gain the referrals because
for sure
they could get the javelin and things like that, right?
Yeah. Which, speaking of, I did see a pretty cool thing from Morphologis this week talking about how apparently he puts other people's referral codes on now, right? He does it like through Patreon or something. Apparently, like 14 people have gotten javelins just through like that system, which is very cool. I don't know. It was just a cool thing that I saw this week. Really
sick. But the thing about those guys is my argument between like Morph, Knable and others, that are super high on that list. Burks, I think, has a lot. Level Cap, right? A lot of people we know and that we're friends with. That's a lot of money, and to just kind of throw what they've done in the trash in a way is something that I was like, I would love to see maybe a minor, like, some monument, something in the game, maybe not for them, each one specifically, because, I don't know how many people actually have like 1,000 or more or have javelins or whatever. But maybe like a little plaque or something in game that they can go to and be like, I'm in Star Citizen. I contributed this or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that would be like a nice way to kind of move on from that chapter. It is very clear that, and we haven't talked much about the reason for doing this. It's a really crappy system. It sucks. It's old,
and a lot of the prizes are pretty outdated.
Yeah, it's old. That's what I mean. Yeah. Like, not the system in general. Like, it needed this. So the way they're going about it, not the best. But the reasons for doing it and their goals for it are absolutely the right way to go, and the right reasons and all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't want to bash it. I just, people were upset, and we kind of want to communicate why they might have been. Because again, I don't really care, but I do care about why they're doing it, and that it sounds like it's going to be a lot better. So
yeah, I want to address like some like there's a lot of sort of like things that people will bring up was like, well, why don't CIG do X, Y, Z? So like one example, a lot of people saying, well, maybe CIG should just give everyone who's like, one referral away from the reward. Problem with that is the person who's 2 referrals away, and then the person who's 3 referrals away.
Yeah, no.
And then you have the same problem perpetuating, right? So you can't do something like that. The other thing is like, all right, well, what if everyone just gets whatever the next tier of their stuff is, they get it. That's essentially the same issue that you just had. The other option of, well, let us continue to, go on the current leaderboard, right? Let's once again say that I'm like working towards a Gladius, which I think is like 25 or something.
10.
Gladius, yeah, let me continue 10. That. 10, cool. Let me continue. Well, the 25 one's probably better for example. So whatever the 25 one is, let me just continue working towards the 25 while the new referral rewards come in. The problem with that is, what if the first 2 or 3 rewards are better than that, and I would rather have that than the Gladius? So there's like a lot of issues with trying to logistically make this work and it not screw over someone.
Yeah.
It will screw over someone. Yeah, the only one that in my head is like, this would technically work, was everyone stays at the same amount of referrals and they just on the new system. You just get whatever all the rewards are previously.
I think that works, but you can't get the previous rewards. Like, it's a weird one. Like, maybe the only thing I could think of, but it would be kind of messed up and hard to do, is here. Let's I'll bring up mine, for example, real quick. Is just try not to have like the recruit list name on, or no, I have a better idea. Where's the actual here? What is the referral program? I'm clicking it. Did it open up a new window? No, it's just really slow. So we'll just go with this instead.
Also, just quickly, in the post, does it say the estimate of when this is going to happen?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so that's a big deal too. Like, if this is in 6 months,
like let's use like rewards 1, 3, 5, and 10. Everything here except for the Gladius is quite literally worthless. Oh, July 1st. That is right. They did give the date. Yeah, and then 25 it starts getting better, but. Let's say you're at 99, right? Let's say you're at 99 and you want the Vandal Blade, which is awesome, fun ship. Let's say you're at 99. What if you gain 1 more? This is my only thought that I think could work and keep everyone happy. If you gain 1 more, you get whatever in the new system is at 100, and you get whatever in the old system. No, you get whatever was in the old system at 100, and then when you get whatever is in the new system at 1.
So kind of count for both, just for like the
for the immediate next reward, like your 200 reward, you were not able to get, right? is like, if I'm this close, instead of just giving me the blade, if I gain one more in the new system,
interesting.
I get the blade.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they keep like a legacy like stack of like, yeah, you almost got the Arena Commander Racing package.
Whatever your
So your
next
referrals
goal,
are working in the new system, but you also can still get the racing package. But you can't get the combat package. That's gone. That's essentially what you're saying, right? So the 25 and 42 was what I was explaining there. So like, or like in your example, like you can get the 100, but you can't get the old reward for 200.
Correct. It's whatever
like
whatever
That's
is your the one that you're closest to. That like, I just think it's really hard to manage. But whichever one you're closest to, you're still working towards that in the old system. And if you achieve it, you get it. But then you start fresh in the new system and are getting those rewards. This way, you're only giving one reward to somebody. And let me tell you something. If you're at 1,000 or something like that, and somebody, and if I'm at 1,043 and I get 1,000 more, give the fucking guy a javelin. Who gives a shit? Like you're letting people.
Well, which to be fair might be the new system anyway. But
yeah, exactly. You're selling this thing every 5 minutes, so I'm okay with these, because the reason for the new system and the new start is not for these people. It's for these people, right?
Yeah.
So exactly. try to not affect these people as much while helping these people, because this is what matters. So that's how I look at it.
I really like that idea.
That'll be the best. But I don't know how easy that would be to implement. It'd probably be really hard. So,
because also like if you're pissed off that like, oh, I had 500 and now I can't get a javelin with 2,000. It's like if you're getting 1,500 referrals, I'm sure the new system is going to be pretty good
reward
for you. Anyway.
Yeah, like it'll reward you. Nobody feels bad for you, dude. Like I feel bad for the people who are really close to something that's like on the lower end, and that is, it took them a few years to get 10 referrals. It's going to take them a few more to get 25. It's So yeah. And maybe, how about that? Maybe it's within a certain period of time, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But Morphs in chat, he said, dismissing the people who referred more still feels a bit bad, but probably nobody wants to know what the number one shill thinks. Come on the show and call in, because I am kind of curious. Yeah, but the first thought process that I go through with you there is boohoo, like I don't care. Right, I don't feel bad.
But also, your system still rewards that person.
Yeah,
like your system still rewards the person that's just below the 1,042. They get the 1,042 reward, but then they're just in the new
one. But Morph has 15,000, which is why I said those people should be immortalized in the game. Like, what better reward to be in the game that you love, right?
Yeah,
that's my feeling. Is if I was in that position, that's what I would want. I can't speak for Morph, though. I'm not in that position. So he'll call in. Anybody who's in the call list will probably skip over you to give him a chance to talk. And he is in Taiwan. So time zones and stuff, just to be clear. But outside of that, that's all I have to say on the referral thing. I think it'll be good to get to Morph when we can there. But
definitely.
Anything else?
Monthly report.
Yeah. I didn't see a ton of stuff here that was super exciting. What did you get excited by?
So a couple of things. I think the last monthly report had nothing on ships. If I remember, it was like
that's
completely
true. The ship section was pretty poggers this month.
Yeah, real thick. Yeah. So obviously they talk about the Golem and the Addles, which just came out. Cool.
Yeah. We know.
They talk about the Starlance attack being moved into final development, which to me just says is almost guaranteed to be an Invictus launch.
Yep. Exciting too. A lot of people are pretty hyped for that ship. So
yeah, it should be good fun. A lot of
people talking about it.
The Pioneer is still getting worked on, obviously. The big ones are the unannounced ships for me. So first off, unannounced vehicle pass grey box review into level of detail 0. 2 other vehicles receiving a bug fixing pass and final content work, and another ship currently being prepared for its grey box gate review. So that's 3 unannounced vehicles, 1 unannounced ship. The 3 unannounced vehicles, I imagine they're going to be some variation of some of the ground vehicles that we saw at the end of last year during the silhouette page. No idea what the ship is. Could be so many different things. But either way, that is a lot of stuff already, and we're only halfway through the ship section.
Yeah.
So I imagine we'll be seeing some of those at Invictus as well, because level of details are very close to the end. Obviously, final content, same sort of thing. So
yeah,
they should be pretty close.
Little negative salt to spread on this kind of good news, I think, is 9 new ships in this list, 2 previously sold ships in this list. How does that make you feel? Discounting the Geo
3.
and no, so you have
Tac, Zeus, Polaris, Apollo, Perseus. Oh, sorry, Apollo, Perseus, Tac. Yeah, Apollo, Perseus,
3.
Tac.
9 to 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that make you feel? Is that a good ratio for you?
It's a good ratio as long as these are the ships that we saw at end of last year that have like already been being worked on. Okay. As long as they are not like fully new. Well, sorry, they can be fully new if they're cool. They got something interesting with them, right? Whether that's new design language or a new mechanic, or which I doubt it'll be a new mechanic, but like maybe a hole in the ship lineup that we have currently, kind of like the Golem was. There was like a little bit of a hole there. Yeah.
I just think we're on the road to 1.0, and you are continuing to make delivering ships to people that they paid money for to create 1.0 impossible by doing it this way. The more ships you prioritize that are new versus going back and doing the old ones at this stage, it starts to become like a problem, I think. And I just look at it and go, I'm not trying to say CIG shouldn't make money. We all know new ships make more money, but I would like to see that ratio come closer to 50-50 rather than be so such a difference between the two is all. But I'm always
the one thing I'll mention.
I love the Geo. I love the Golem. Like, so it's like, how do you get super upset by these things? But
yeah. The one thing I'll mention with it, I guess, is that the majority of those new ones, they say vehicles. The language that CIG use in the monthly reports, if they say vehicle, you're looking at a ground vehicle or a Gravlev. That's pretty much it.
Pause. I got you on that one too. I thought the same thing, but then look at the bottom.
Yep.
Work continued on unannounced vehicles too, a variant of a popular ship. So it's like
fair.
They're throwing it all over. When I was doing my react, I was reading at the top, and I had the exact same thought process as you. I get to the last paragraph, and I'm like, "Well, everything I just thought was thrown out the window." So I was like, "I don't know what
usually
they mean by
that's
vehicle."
The case.
I agree,
Yeah,
but now I don't know what they mean by vehicles. So now they're kind of playing with us a little bit. Which is sneaky.
I'd also add, so obviously the backlog is still big. They've done a lot of progress in the last, since the Corsair release, they've done a lot of progress with continuing to do backlog ships.
Yeah. Obviously
right now, the big ones in this monthly report, the Pioneer, the Apollo, and the Perseus, right?
Sure.
Right now, as far as I can remember, there's far too many ships in this game. The only big backlog ships are big, or they're like the Expanse that doesn't have mechanics yet. So what would you want this to? Well, I mean, you kind of answered with you sort of don't know, but what would you want this to look like?
Gold standard reworks, some gold standard reworks, and yeah, I guess you're right about the big ships part. So it's going to take a little bit longer, but gold standard reworks. I want to see more of those in here. It's time. It's crazy.
Yep.
It's absolutely insane to release the Hornet Mark II and have no reachable components on it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's not okay. So that's and you say engineering's coming, and we're supposed to get excited about that in the monthly report. How am I going to reach my How am I going to have engineering in my Aurora? I just won't. I do it all through a panel. I'm just curious what they're going to be doing here. Maybe that's what's taking so long with the engineering. Hopefully that
is a good one to go to next, because they do talk about it quite a bit in the core gameplay. So progress made on engineering. They talk a lot about vehicle coolant. which, as far as I'm aware, is like the first time they have, or if it's, or at the very least, is like the most they've ever talked about it.
Well, when you turn on your ship, what do
Yeah,
you do? What's it's one of the first things you're doing with your power now? You're turning off your coolers, right?
yeah,
So it basically negated that entire component, like the way the
yeah,
current pip system works. This is their answer to that, which
yeah,
is this
yeah.
is
So it'll
fantastic.
be, yeah, this will presumably be an actual material that you need to stock up as well in certain situations, I imagine, as well as like qualities of coolant, I imagine, will be a thing. But they talk about exactly like how it's going to work specifically with your power and your items. So yeah, still lots of work happening on engineering, which was to be expected. The amount that they talk about it here, because they also talk about heat with ship thrusters and stuff. I hope means we will see a what is it called? The test universe that's not a test universe tech preview.
Are we gonna see one this
Uh,
year?
yeah, true, exactly right. It's been 4 months now.
Classic letter
Um,
from the chairman.
yep, and engineering felt like it was the most obvious one to have a tech preview, like a big
And
one. So
nothing.
yeah,
And scene. Another wonderful letter from our great friend Chris. But the
yep.
I see this as super super important because what's like the meta right now? It's stealth, it's super annoying. I can't target
Uh-huh.
anybody and they can just come at me with all their guns and be firing like crazy. And
Yeah.
this will help prevent that a little bit because if you wanted full power pips, you take down your coolers. If you wanted full shield pips, you take down your coolers and your life support and things like that, right? Now it sounds like you cannot take down your coolers without negatives. So it's
Yep.
now you're going for, okay, well, maybe I need a power plant that is not stealth. Where if you're
Yep.
not using a stealth power plant right now, you're kind of an idiot, is basically how it works. So this will make that meta kind of die, hopefully. And if you're truly going stealth, the downside will be there's no way you're going to have enough pips to be full weapons and do super alpha damage with some of these ships. And that's great. And I love that. So
Yep.
that's like the big thing here is it is a battle against the experiences that we're having now, which aren't great, with a simple solution like making one of the components that is there to be useful actually useful. So
Yep.
thank you. Somebody's asking where this
wh-
is from. This is the monthly report. I'll link it in chat right now.
which also, if you don't read the monthly report, do it. It's probably one of the best like bits of communication that CIG give us about at least what they think they are developing.
Yeah, it's the
And
what's
it's
going on
usually pretty
now.
stacked. So
Especially without a lot of ISCs this year, this is kind of the only way to find
exactly,
out what's
yeah.
going on with the development.
So I
Trying to
actually
think
have a
what
question
else.
for you, Mike, with one of these sentences because
Okay.
we were reading this in chat, and I was trying to figure out if I was like processing it correctly because it sounded really cool. So they say a reward mechanic for collection missions was implemented, which is used for the collector missions, while the ability to automatically retrieve items from freight or ship elevators via HUD notification was added. In my brain, what this says is like, yeah, I'm doing a mission, whatever, and then I will get a notification. I press left bracket, it comes up on the freight elevator. I don't have to go to the terminal or anything.
Oh, maybe.
Like that's how I read it, but I'm so like surely not that I keep asking people, is that what that means?
I don't know. That
Because that would be a fantastic quality of life change, right?
sure. But
Like
then
if you go and do a freight mission and you just like, yeah, you just press a notification. Sweet.
oh. This is like rewards though. Retrieve no, just retrieve items. I feel like this is
Yeah.
just rewards. That's interesting. Yeah, they didn't write this
But
very
either way,
clearly,
yeah,
but
yeah, because it says via HUD notification. That's what's like
that's the one that's flipped.
messing with me.
Yeah, messing me up too because I didn't notice that until you mentioned it just now. Interesting. I don't know.
So yeah, yeah. I just don't know what this means necessarily. I have an idea, but I'd like some more clarification on that because that, yeah, it would be a massive. If it works the way that I think it does, it would be a huge quality of life change.
Yeah,
Which
if you
are
have
always
a
great.
mission and it's like go to the freight elevator at ArcCorp 141 and you go there and it's like
Yeah.
call up your cargo with left bracket, and you just press it, and the cargo goes.
Like, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
That'd be sick.
So
okay. And the only other thing here is like sharing prerequisites. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but now they made it so instead of you needing HRT certification to share HRTs or have them shared with you, then now it's more like if I have an HRT certification, I can share it with everybody who isn't like super negative for a Crusader security or something like that, or excuse me, the Bounty Hunters Guild, and so on. So as long as you're just not bad with them, then you can do it. I have VHRTs without ever doing a mission myself.
Yeah.
Just because of that. Because like everybody was farming ERTs. I was grabbing the boxes out of the ship. I wasn't actually doing them. And yeah, I earned it that way. So that's kind of cool. Like you're a part of it, but you're not. And I don't know. They're trying to do more. I think we'll see it in the narrative section, but they're trying to do more stuff from like for mission narrative and like in comms notification progress too, including one-way comms calls from mission givers and players and stuff like that. So like Wikelo talking to us more.
All stuff that we wanted.
All stuff we want, and that's good to see. Economy, can we just skip it, please? So I mean,
I do like that they point out that like, and then it was battle release. Like straight up, it was overtuned on release. Correct. It was. So
but like
the problem that I have is we did. That's true. They then go on to say, you know, like we're going to work more with mission design to make sure this works. My problem is I don't know if we'll see an event like Supply or Die for a little while. Maybe the Invictus event happens to be that. But Align or Mine certainly isn't that. It's just not how that works.
No.
So it might be a little bit of time before we see any difference there. So
I hope they took lots of lessons from Supply or Die, lots of lessons from Align and Mine, and put them together in practice and improve throughout the year, because both were awesome and horrible at the same time. And there's lots of things you can learn from them to make something like truly great. And I think if they actually learn those lessons, they could. I never really look at this section, so if there's anything that sticks out to you, feel free.
It's so hard to read.
It's technical.
I'm not smart enough.
Me neither.
Like, what the hell is a, like... No, it's just, it breaks my mind every time.
Narrative's the next one that sticks out to me.
Yeah, so lots of stuff in narrative. Obviously, all of the patches that we've gotten since really like 3.24 have had a lot of narrative influence in them. More so than any patches previous. And they want to continue doing that. So Wikelo was a big deal for them. Creating Wikelo and getting working. And some upcoming missions as well that they're going to be doing some dialogue and whatnot for, which is likely some of the stuff that we saw Jared doing his ISC the other week. Where he was doing all of his stuff that seemed like there's some stuff happening in Invictus.
I went to Twitter this week. I had to.
Oh, wow.
They said Narrative also ran a capture session that focused on adding dialogue to several upcoming missions, as well as introducing 2 new faction representatives who players will work with during specific contracts. Now, I'm a little messed up here because it says new, but I feel like Dooley will make herself in the game. We saw on Twitter, Anna Dimitriou was at the studio doing performance capture. How can, unless she's playing another character,
which is it's likely,
certainly
because
possible.
She already plays multiple characters.
Yeah, it's certainly possible, but it sounds like whatever it will be, it sounds like it could be her. And if you put 2 and 2 together, Headhunters coming to Stanton, who fights off Pyro and Stanton, or who fights off Pirates and Stanton, the CDF, who runs the CDF, Dooley does, who's the who's the actor that plays Agent Dooley. It's Anna. So my prediction was like, we'll probably get a Headhunters representative.
But then I also feel like they're playing really hard into the Rayari storyline as well, right? Like they're starting to push them as a big faction.
Well, they're not
playing, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get.
But they need to. You would think.
Yeah, it's true. They do need to
up there that no one cares.
But at least storyline relevancy, they are big in the storyline right now. So So yeah, I would actually imagine that it'll be Rayari and Headhunters in the near future, and then yeah, we'll probably get Dually afterwards.
Yeah, unfortunately, this storyline's only playing on ISC and in the
loading screens.
And the loading screens, but I don't think anyone. I would really love to see the numbers of like how many people are actually turning in Rayari missions, because Wikelo is just kind of a level up from that, and I just don't see as many people interested. But if if like you said, if they do something here, I could totally see people going way more in the Rayari side of things for sure.
Yeah, exactly. The last thing I want to mention about the monthly report is in R&D, because this is one that I keep following over just like every monthly report recently, which is to do with clouds and dynamic weather. And me continuing to think that it's a lot further ahead than I had originally thought. They mention, obviously, like, some bonuses to gas clouds here, which makes sense because there was a ton of new gas clouds added in 4.1. All the moons of Stanton now have gas clouds, not gas clouds. Well, they have clouds. But then also them talking about weather again. I don't know if I'm ready to make a bet yet, Mike. give me a couple of ATCs.
Okay.
I think we might get rain in 4.2.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
does it?
I'm not ready to make the bet yet. I'll give it a bit more time.
Does it require like the whole new planet tech system to happen? I wonder. I don't know. But
yeah,
maybe.
no, like in my head, literally just like pretty much just like a filter over your face that looks like rain is kind of what I would expect, right?
Bro, I hope
the
we
lightning
do.
yet. None of the like like the dynamic puddles and stuff that's not going to happen for years. But like just a dynamic weather. We have the dynamic clouds already. Now that clouds have been added to all the moons of Stanton, as far as I'm aware, the only clouds that don't move now are just on the Stanton planets. So
I just want.
Yeah, I don't know. They keep talking about it a lot, and it feels like it's a lot further ahead.
I just want the mining update, dude. I want to go to single material rocks and have them be like biome specific, like they're doing with the Copians and stuff now. That's all I want.
Yep.
I just want that.
Yeah,
I think I would be happy with that. In like the first half of the year,
to be fair.
First half of the year, and then hopefully some level of crafting and base building stuff, maybe.
I think if we get any concept talk at Citizencon this year, it'll still be crafting stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Well.
Yeah.
That's all I got. So if we want to start going to callers, we can.
Yeah, let's do it. That's pretty much all the news. If you want to call in to answer the call next week, because we are already full, you can go to !podcast on Mike's channel. If you're on YouTube, it is in the description. Yeah, jump into the green room.
Sweet. And just for a note for everybody who's thinking about calling in today, all that stuff, we'll probably keep it to the 5 that are in the waiting room right now, because I told Croncy I was really feeling tired today. I can already hear my wife. We've meal prepped for the whole week, and I can hear her working on it already. So I'd like to get in there and take part and help. So I don't want to be here super duper long if we can avoid it. But our first caller, we're going to go to Morph. But maybe we give Snugs a spot since we snuck Morph in, and we'll leave it that way. How's that sound? I think that's most fair. All right, so we'll bring in Morph, and specifically because it's hard to experience what it's like to have referred 15,000 people to Star Citizen and kind of get scammed a little bit here. So like there's only one person we could talk to on like what it feels like, right? So how does it feel, more?
It's all right. How you guys doing? Well,
good.
Just a minor correction there. It's 18,600.
That's right.
A little more than that. And then I also have a other account which has got 2,080 on it. And then I've also used my Patreon subs, which together are probably another 15,000.
That's
insane. So, it's pretty wild. I've stopped using my referral codes on my videos. I've only put them in 3 actually. All of my new player guides. Those are the only videos that have my referral code in them.
Which makes sense.
And CRG don't even pay you.
They don't even pay me.
No. When I reacted to it, like I know we mention Eve all the time. Like, you guys know that Eve has a program that if a player uses your code, you get 5% of the money that they spent.
Surprised, yeah.
Like,
I've heard about it, yeah. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good about that kind of thing.
It's a lot of companies are, and this one's like, all right, here's a ship at 2,000 and then nothing after. And I'm assuming that's what your issue is, right? Like one of the ideas here is to create a new program to also incentivize like much later rewards, correct?
Well, yeah, I get it. So like from one perspective, it makes a whole lot of sense that they want to redo the referral program, because right now it's not really effective for kind of even the most effective referrers in the community, because after a certain point, you're not getting anything but bragging rights, and only 5 of the total who've gone past 2017 are really even able to show, any kind of quote unquote bragging rights, right? Because so it makes a lot of sense from a business standpoint for a referral program to be refreshed and be made more effective. So I get that. But from the other side of things, and I really was pretty indifferent to the whole topic, actually. I saw the thread. People were freaking out about it before I even realized, I wasn't really paying close attention even after I heard the news. But people like Nebel, who were also on the leaderboard, kind of brought up that it feels a little bit, well, he used stronger words, but after thinking about it, I personally felt it is a little bit dismissive. And the way I thought about it was,
well, the reply to him was very dismissive.
It was a bit dismissive, and I think that CIG, once again, have kind of missed the mark on this, have not really thought it through from maybe their own corporate perspective, and not really from the people who've kind of gone to support the project.
Yep.
And I also get like where some people are coming from, feeling kind of like, why do you think you deserve any more than 2017? You don't deserve anything. All right. Yeah, I get some people are angry and maybe even a little jealous, but let me try to explain it this way. If you've got a company, and I'm not trying to equate myself as this thing I'm about to say, so don't mistake it. I'm just using it as an example. If you look at people using the referral program as salespeople, for example, they're selling things, and the rewards are like a commission. If you're running a company and you've got a really high performer salesperson, do you cap their commission at a certain point?
No,
because it's unfair to the other salespeople?
Yeah.
No, you don't, because that salesperson's really effective, right?
I will just say capped commissions are a thing that do exist.
Capped commissions are a thing.
They are shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can only really perform up to a certain point, right? Okay. Well, I mean, it just doesn't. It seems kind of like if you've got a high performing salesperson who's doing a really good job, it seems to me that if you're a business, you probably want to keep that person continuing to produce sales because it makes you money. Just like it makes common business sense. Now, I'm not a salesperson. I don't sell people the game, even though I make content that people, like the game and buy because of that. But I always tell people to try to make their own decisions, and I don't hide that the game's buggy at all. I kind of get really angry on streams, and sometimes I'm known for that. So from all I'm saying is it just feels a little bit like after all those referrals after 2017, for anybody who passed that, even people who didn't get to the next point, it just feels a little bit like you guys don't really matter. Like what you've done that is not really important. It just kind of comes off of that way to me, and it's not a great feeling. It's really not a great feeling. To be honest. So
I don't know if you heard my suggestions for it, but I'm curious what you think and bounce off the idea for you. Is my whole thing was like, you guys should just be immortalized in the game. Like, is that enough? I don't know. Maybe that's not the right way to ask it, but there should be something, especially if you're going to sunset this program and go somewhere else. The people who were really successful, if I was in your position, that is what I would want, is to just to be like, acknowledgement at least, or maybe, and like have it be something that affects nobody. It's in a tiny little place that if I want to go and look at it and remember my contribution to the project, then I can go there, and if other people see it, then that's great. I don't care, but it's like a nice little memento that's for me, and it won't bother anybody if it's just somewhere in a park on Orison. I don't know, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean that'd be pretty cool. I mean, well, I just want to address, like, there's another thing that people like to say is like, you were never promised anything. It says right at the bottom of it, more to come soon. So that right there goes out the window, but still, it doesn't matter. Like, even if you want to say, all right, they didn't ever directly promise anything, it's still not a really great gesture to people who had continued to refer people and even spend a lot of effort doing so. Not to say that I have, but certainly there's a lot of people who have spent a lot of effort in the referral program, really tried to like talk to people friend by friend to try to get them to get Star Citizen, who really religiously believe in the game. I definitely don't do that myself, but like for those types of people, not just myself, it just does feel a little bit dismissive. So I think that if I were on their side thinking this through, I would have at least tried to arrange some kind of final commemorative award.
Yeah.
Like just to say thank you for what you've done, like some kind of formal thank you. I think would be greatly appreciated. And you know, that could come in some final ship or some unique skin for like
that's what I said.
A ship or like a suit of armor or something.
I said
like
you should be able to skin your javelin that you earned in a unique way that only you can. Each individual that earned it can submit, or like maybe there's like a color by numbers book that you get to, you know, choose your colors and for certain sections of the javelin the way you want. Maybe you can get it and have the Ninetales javelin with spray paint all over it if that's what you want, something like that, right? But I mean, God, guys, it's thousands of referrals. And like I saw somebody in chat say, well, who cares? It's just basically a popularity contest. It doesn't matter if that's what it is. It contributed to the project in a significant way, whether you like it or not. And Morph isn't necessarily wrong here at all, saying, hey, you know, I have 18,000 plus and the rewards stop at 2,000. It just doesn't make any sense. And if you're going to sunset this thing, maybe one final thing isn't.
And I will say this, I've never complained about this once, not once. I've never emailed CIG and said like, "Hey, were there more nothing." I've never said anything. But since they're taking this away, it just does feel a little bit dismissive. Look, like I know some people don't get it. You know, they think that YouTubers like they just like it's an easy job. You know, you just talk on the microphone and the video produces itself. But I gotta say, I spend most of my free time making my content. There's a lot of effort, and I'm not expecting to get anything back from it. But a thanks would would make me feel better. So I mean that's all. I mean I don't want to sit here and ask for anything either because it feels really bad to do that. It's up to them whether they want to do anything. Like if they don't want to do anything, like fine. Remember,
go ahead, Morph. I'm sorry.
Think of it this way, like no, it's fine. There's a little bit of a delay because I'm in Taiwan, because it can make it a little difficult sometimes. Think of it's a referral program. What is it? It is a mutual benefit system.
Yeah.
You promote the game, and I give you something, and a little something in return. Ultimately, the person who's running the referral program is getting way more than the referrer. That's just how it works. That's an understood function of a referral system. But once, the other side stops kind of showing an appreciation, well, then what's the incentive to use the referral program?
Exactly. And as somebody who doesn't participate in the referral program at all, I will go to bat for the people that have, because it's just a matter of just fairness. And for CIG to take in this situation and not really do enough to give back, and then their solution is to kind of throw away all those extra rewards when the new system will probably come with more rewards. I think that was always kind of the promise from when Sandy talked about it and others, is that people that had gone past that last number, that they were expecting something to show up at maybe 5,000, 10,000, whatever, and for them to do stuff there, and they just never did. So the idea of sunsetting this and taking that away just never made sense, because that was always the expectation.
And it does feel
if I may, Morph, just because I'd like to talk. Go
ahead.
Oh, shit. And then I immediately forgot what I was going to say.
It'll come. Take your time.
I guess this whole thing, though, there is this from this perspective of the issue, which regardless is still a small part of the issue, which is why when we were focused on talking more about the people that are just before a reward type thing. But in this specific version of the issue, is it not the case that all the people on that ladder, at least all the people on the top 10 people on that ladder, are still going to have all the rewards when this new system comes in?
Yes.
Or at the very least, they're going to get all of the biggest ones. It feels like it's an issue this week, and that's it to me.
No, I mean, okay, so it's more about sentiment. Yeah, we still have the rewards. That's not really the issue here. It's the issue is just dismissing what went beyond the original 2017. So if someone put like a lot of effort for it, and I'm not saying that I personally did, I just happen to have videos that people watch a lot and they use my referral code. That's just how it ended up being. But there's a lot of people who spent a lot of effort beyond 2017, and to just dismiss those efforts as not valuable feels to me like a bit of a slap in the face to the people who had continued using the referral program past the 200. You get what I'm saying? It's about the sentiment.
You can also
it's
just
the sentiment
apply
of it.
this.
It's not.
It's the same exact issue as the person who's at 9 referrals and doesn't have anybody to get the 10th. Like, it is the exact same situation, because they are still just yanking that progress and just throwing it in the trash. So it's, no matter how you look at it, like, you can, because you know how the internet is, they're not going to appreciate this conversation and understand a lot of it, and they're going to make shitty, mean comments, and that's what it is. But you can take this conversation and literally apply it one-to-one to somebody who doesn't have a big YouTube channel, to somebody who is just trying to refer their friends and all that stuff. It is the exact same problem, is that there were no rewards for you, and whatever was going to be there and whatever will be there at the end, you will not be receiving. And then, and we're just talking about straight up just like a little acknowledgement, and not all. I don't think anybody's asking for the world here. Like, what are you going to have?
No.
At this point,
like
you already have
founder's armor or something.
You already have a javelin. What do you want? A moon at this point? Like, you can't ask for any
more.
Moon. Yeah.
I want laser beam on my moon.
Yeah, exactly. And you want it to work correctly, right? That would be fantastic. So, like,
well, I don't want to ask for too much.
Yeah, like, what more can you really be asking for as far as rewards here go? It's more of like a, hey, we just show some respect, almost, is what it kind of feels like. And from the outside perspective, it's just like, give some of these people respect. That's an insane amount of money. Because you can put a dollar amount to how much you've actually earned them at the minimum, but most likely people spent more. You could do a dollar amount for the average backer number and say this is how much more for Knable or whoever got. But in reality, it's like that was just their first purchase. What happened after? And you don't know. Like, the money could be significantly larger. And it's a fantastically huge contribution. So I hope they learn from some of that feedback. They have plenty of time to address and adjust, and hopefully they do. And that's how I look at it. But
it's hard for me to like ask for anything though, because there is a bit of this that feels a little.
I'll do it for you.
Weird and icky. So I don't give me anything if CI just give the rest of the people something that did something with the referral program, to say at least thank you before you close it down, and that's all. I think that'd be good.
Yeah, I say the same thing, but in my way, the thank you should be something in game, because like I've said it a couple times. I don't think it'll be there anymore. But I had like there was Salty on an icon on a screen in Siege of Orison. Like, I'm in the game, and I know what that felt like, and I feel like if people that actually had way bigger contributions to me would get something like that, I think it would go a long way. But something bigger than that. Like, I mean, mine is like literally 3 pixels big, but it's there, and I know it's there, and that felt really good. And I just think something like that can go a long way for people who did that stuff. But
indeed, and I don't want to also overlook. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't.
I was just gonna say I don't know. I keep feeling like it's such a this specific example. Yeah, like I would be for a reward for people that are on the ladder, right? I think that would be cool. I just really do not think it's necessary. I think it is like my brain is like, would this issue even exist if the ladder didn't exist, right? Would one thing I'd like to understand from you, Morph, you said that you still put your referral code in like some of your videos, right?
Only the three starter guides.
Cool. What before this week? What was your incentive to do that? Because you do something very cool that I wish more people did, which is, you do the Patreon thing where you get other people javelins and stuff, which is insanely awesome. So what has been your incentive to continue to have that there?
My incentive was the metric, like having a set to have an actual metric to say that my video had referred such and such, so that I can look at it and say, okay, my video has been effective in some way in getting people excited, or some way, like it's contributed in the project in some way. It's kind of just for me, really.
Okay.
I was never expecting,
well
like, I thought
does.
maybe they're gonna add something eventually. Like, I had hypothesized on some cool ideas that they could do beyond a javelin. Simple things that weren't like big, like a cool skin or something that wouldn't upset people. Because what do you do after a javelin, right? Like, there's not much you can
It
give.
literally
That's
is
like
a moon or a space station at that point.
Yeah.
Right. If you go that route, so
yeah. With that in mind, then fair enough. Like if you did have the idea, like while it wasn't your main priority, which honestly your main priority is actually very cool. I like that as an idea of figuring out metrics. But if you were like, yeah, like there should be other stuff coming soon, then yeah, like I can understand it being like, you know, I was working towards a potential thing. Yeah.
And a lot of people are. You look at Nubble's post, and he's got now, I think, over 500 upvotes on it. It's not like 500 people are on the leaderboard. There are people who only have 10, 20, 1,000 referrals, and you know they're feeling that way. So I don't think it's just because the 5 people on the board.
Yeah,
it's not exclusive to us. Yeah, it's not. It's there's a lot of people who are feeling uncomfortable, and this is not the first time CIG has kind of made this kind of decision and didn't really think about the implications of it and how the community would feel. So I think it's just a recalibration on their part, and that's all.
I think that's probably why it's more of an issue than most people think it should be, is because it's just like we're getting tired of the same old bullshit where it's like, how did you think that this was good? It's just like, how many times do we have to tell you this? How many times do you run something past us essentially on Spectrum and just have it just totally wrong every time? It's like, do you run this past anybody before you post these things in the community? Anybody who it might affect? Hey, we're thinking about doing something like this. What do you think? And then they can go, wow, that makes me feel really bad. And then they can go, oh, you know what? You're right. Maybe we should go back to the drawing board and do something that's not so bad. And like, this is probably the least bad thing in those examples that they've done that, because again, I don't think it affects that many people. It's just a referral program. I see you in chat typing over and over again. It's an opt-in. I see you. You're annoying. Stop. And we
had nothing else to talk about this week, guys.
Yeah,
come on.
like I get it, right? But I think that's what it comes from me. Is just like, I put my head in my hands. Like, how is this still happening? How are we not thinking things through?
It comes down, I think, it's more of like a bigger thing, not to do with the referral program, but more to do with how CIG sometimes makes these really head-scratching decisions that, you know, they could have gone a different direction and just made a lot of people in the community, like building that goodwill in the community, building that trust and such. They've made a lot of decisions in recent years that I just feel like were not maybe the right ones to make. You could have won a lot more hearts. And, you know, that's the kind of building that good, positive community sentiment, that good positive will in the community. I think they should try to take that opportunity anytime they can. Agreed.
So, and it's just, and that's where I guess we'll leave it. But I just think that that's where my frustration actually comes from, because I could care less about this in general. But it's like, man, I feel bad for the people who do care. I feel bad for the people who are trying to get, you know, some of the smaller rewards, and they were really close, but now it's going to be taken away from them, and so on and so forth. It's just like, you know, putting this out there to a select few people would have totally got this figured out before ever making a public post. But I know you can't always please everyone, but CIG is like ninjas at pleasing way less people than they could with others. Like, they're just like masters at it. It's wild. So yeah, but
just while we have you, Morph,
yeah,
and to bring it around a bit more to like the other aspect of this, what would you like to see in the new referral program?
Well, if you get to a certain point, I'd like to have them give you one decision for the direction of the game.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
I'm just kidding. And mine would be nerf the A2, but
There's 10,000 referrals, PvE servers. Let's go.
Right there. I was throwing a lighter fluid on the fire there. I think that, you know, giving some kind of exclusive like skins or something, or like exclusively skinned armor to say like your community founder or something like that, kind of building up. It doesn't have to. I mean, I think ships are good too. I mean, ultimately, regular people will be more incentivized by getting some cool ships attached to their account. So, I mean, the current system was really good up until a certain point. Some of it was a bit outdated and behind the times, like the
early
gray
stages.
cat. And
what would you want to see at the
pretty much,
1 through 10? What would your ideal be?
Well, let's see. I think that, you know, a good set, like a cool set of armor would be one of them. You know, a cool weapon, couple cool weapons, you know, then you build up to a small ship. Like I think the Gladius was a really great
that was very good.
Like it's like level 10. Yep. It's a really good ship because it's always well taken care of because it's in squadrons. So I think it was always a very good one to have in there. That should stay
right where it is.
Yeah, right where it is. I think that's a good place to leave it. And I mean, what's bad in that list? I guess the ones that have to do with arena commanders, so nothing to do with arena commander, should all just be at, you know, ships and maybe some cool skins, and that's it. I mean, I think that's it. I mean, I don't know what more else to say about a referral program than that. I think that just makes a whole lot of sense, really.
You wouldn't want to see a change in the system itself, just a change in the prizes.
Yeah, I mean, I like also that they've been recently in the past 2 or 3 years, they've been having like short-term 1 referral rewards. I thought that was a really great system.
Yes,
but they've been doing that for at least 5 years.
But I have 37 Drake Dragonflies, guys.
Got so many of them, too. It's true. It's true. Maybe switch those up a little bit. I feel like they should be a little bit more generous with some of those.
Yeah,
maybe like 5 gets you a Titan or something. But
I would like to see, like, if they change the system itself, I would like to see like store credit. Like let me decide what I'm spending like my referral bonuses on, right? Rather than it just
it kind of is. You can take the ships that you get from the referral program and trade them for whatever you want. I've done that with a number of ships. You can trade them up. Yeah.
You cannot trade them down.
Yeah. Oh, so if I get
I
would change that then,
a ton of stuff, like I don't need.
I can't turn my razor into 10 skins, which is what I would love to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. Right. And even to like other examples, like like maybe like you used an armor as an example. Like maybe I just never plan on using that armor. That sucks. Like I'd rather be able to spend it in my own way. That's my only other point of difference. Definitely the items would need to change, but I would much rather see more choice
of
from
5 armors. Yeah, like here you got to the armor tier. Here's the 5 different, and have them just be like a vast variety of all sorts, light, medium, heavy, color, and then you could choose them.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
not bad. I think that'd be pretty neat. Choose an armor that you'd like. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, beyond that, I thought that the like the things you could get in the forums as a tag that you add on your name was kind of cool too. So
yeah,
I thought that was good.
Ooh, here's one, and this goes for the old folks only, like me. You guys don't count here. Like Ultima Online did with anniversary rewards. So if people don't know that, and you definitely don't, what Ultima Online would do is every year you would get like almost points towards rewards, and you can choose whether you wanted to get, like, I remember the last reward I had was 17 years in the game, and I could choose to go back and get a number of the 1-year rewards or a number of the 2-year rewards, or I can get one 17-year reward or something like that. I think that's how it was. It's been about 5 or so years since I've played the game, so I can't remember, but you could basically go back and get rewards that were like legitimately useful to you. Like I remember one of them was like a black dye tub, and I loved, dyeing my armor black, and I could, and so I would go. I remember not having it, and when I was able, I could go back to a previous year reward and use that. And that's not a bad idea. It's like you earn points, and you can choose what you use your points on.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Love it.
And whatever it is, it just needs to give the person who's referring people just has to make them feel special. It'll incentivize them to go refer other friends. And do you know, like I just hope that the next system still has a ladder and it has those short-term referral systems so that people who refer long-term still have incentive, and people who refer, you know, a friend just, you know, when an event comes up, they also have something to get that's within reach.
Sure. That works for me.
Yep.
I think that's probably where we leave it before people get more mad at content creators for talking about content creator only problems in their minds. But I think it is not a content creator only problem, obviously. And I think that was the main point that we were trying to get across here. Is I thought this was a content creator only problem, but it is not.
500 people are not content creators liking Nebel's comment.
Exactly.
They're people who just are using the referral program who also felt uncomfortable with it.
It's actually 500 of Knebel's alts that he used to get high.
Probably. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yep. That's how. Now I know how he has so many. No.
Yeah, there we go.
Strat guys, I'm sure CIG will love you for making alts and using the referral program that way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's probably part of the reason for this post. If you're close, push for it. And I think that's a little extra cash in their bank. Yep. But yeah, all right, Morph, thanks for calling in, dude. And thanks for giving us your insight that only you could in this situation.
Yeah,
so thanks.
My pleasure.
All right,
my
man.
Pleasure.
Talk to you.
Catch up.
Bye now. That was good.
I think just because I just thought of it as you were saying goodbye to him. You said like, you know, the money push. Guess what happens just before July 1st?
What?
Invictus. That typically comes with a free fly. Anyway.
There you go. It all makes sense. All right, let's bring in Pepicwalrus, one of our regular callers. How you doing?
How you doing, Pepic?
How are you guys?
We're good. How about you?
Fantastic. I got a cold.
Yeah. I won't have much to say about the referral thing, but I just need to highlight how humble Morph is. He has almost 20,000 referrals, and he's like, I don't need anything. Give them to the other people.
Yeah.
Just
a thank you. That's it. It's CIG.
Put a statue up.
CIG,
scan his head in.
People don't know the way they are in a lot of cases with other content creators sometimes, especially some people who, you know, occasionally have critiques about them. They're pretty darn dismissive, and it can be really frustrating at times.
Like, Sea of Thieves is my EVE Online. Sea of Thieves has like an immortalization system where people like have like their names or stuff, like you can interact with them. Like when the game was in testing, somebody like threw themselves off a cliff like 100+ times, and they have like a skeleton like upside down.
That's awesome.
Yeah, sorry. Were they told that was going to happen, or was that just a thing they were doing for fun?
They were just doing that to test the game or something. There's something like that. Right. The first person to have ever died has their name on like the ship of the damned. There, those sort of just immortalizations are something that they can benefit. But for me, I'll talk about the Citizencon thing. Yep. I've never been to Citizencon, and coming out of last Citizencon, I'm like, you know, I think I'm going to go to this Citizencon. No, not this year. It does make me a little concerned that I'm hoping it's not, but it does feel like it could be like, ooh, I don't want to be up in front of a crowd when I have to announce a delay for Squadron. I don't.
Right at the end of the digital. By the way, guys.
Yeah.
2029.
That could be.
Like I said though at the sort of start when we were talking about it, it feels like there's two major reasons to swap it. One is a positive one, which is they need the work to be done in Squadron because they're close. One is a negative one, which is they don't have enough to show.
Yes,
and it's likely a combination of the two.
I think it's a combo, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's what it is. And I'm still hoping for the Squadron demo. That will be like, all right, things are good.
Yeah.
I think a demo.
The reason I think it's like a combination of, or how it's a combination of the two is it's not that they don't have enough to show necessarily. It's in order, if they were to put things together to have enough to show, it would take too much away from what they were doing, right?
Yeah.
Because that's always been an issue.
Yeah.
Because it's like they'll be like doing hard pushes over the summer on stuff, and then it'll be like, oh, it's the end of August. We got to start preparing for Citizencon. All devs work on the demos we're going to show off.
Like it's April. I can't spawn my ship. Like focus on the game, and that's it. Yeah. This is out of control at this point.
To give an example, like from last year's Citizencon, so Zach talked a lot when Zach did his presentation on the Armor, and then the Valakar. Zach mentioned, they only got the build ready for the video the week before.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if he also was not like getting ready a presentation about all the armor and getting that all organized and like trying to get that done.
And the cows and the FPS stuff and the
exactly right. Like you can tell how much extra work Zach would have had to do in order to get the presentation ready.
Yeah.
And from like what it seems like if they hard focus on one thing, they can crank something out pretty quickly. But it's just they don't focus on one thing; they focus on a dozen things at any given time. So have one person focusing on a dozen things at a given time too. With some of the directors having 5 things. Who was like at the beginning of the year? They had the guy say he owned like cargo, armor.
Luke, yeah.
He has like 5 things under his belt. Like those things should be spread out more.
Yeah,
maybe, but that's a weird thing for us to say because we don't work there. We don't know.
Well, yeah,
but most likely you're right.
Fair.
It's just we don't actually know.
No.
But yeah, I'm still hoping for a demo. That's still my prediction. And Jackson game, given it's more likely that we.
He did stop by the studio, so maybe they interviewed him after he had done some stuff.
Well, I think around that time, Croncy, you said like they didn't just have him come in; they surely were recording stuff. And now that
I was like, surely you're gonna utilize that time, and there's probably like a couple of extra things they're adding, as well as like in terms of like time wise of trying to do stuff like that. It's like 6 months ahead, 8 months ahead.
He also just gives the vibe like he wouldn't have come out there unless he was getting paid to do it, right? I don't know why. I just get the vibe of like
I don't know.
It's such like a weirdly. It's not even a compliment. It's just like such a weirdly like backhanded thing to say.
No, like I don't mean it in a bad.
I feel like he likes the character.
I don't mean it in a bad way, but like.
This guy never rocks up on time. He never comes in.
No. I did not mean it that way. He just like gives the vibe like he would have like. He just didn't come off of it as a guy who would like come there and do the interview because if he was,
his time
he would have done it.
I imagine.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Like, that's what I'm trying to say.
Fucking McCleary. He's got a timetable.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say it in a bad way whatsoever, right? Like I think it's like he's doing stuff, and if he's gonna be there, and you're not gonna just pull me to do some interview for some dumb game he was an actor in a game, and he wasn't even an actor in the game. He was an actor in the fucking pledge store.
I want him to be like a seasonal mission giver, where like he moves around every quarter. You can just come across.
Yeah,
but
like, that just blew my mind that we're immortalizing a guy who is an actor on a pledge store and a YouTube channel for a video game, but not actually in the game.
Yeah,
because he's the best created character in Star Citizen.
For the longest time, he was the only character. But
put him in the game. Put him in the game.
Yes. I will just say that him being in game was as unlikely as an alien being in game. So
we have that now. So there we go.
But moving on.
Wikelo before GTA.
Yeah.
5, GTA
6. To touch upon like the PTO rewards for the test universe, I think it's a good thing. I think it should be different though than just they can do the champions thing. I know, Mike, you're not much of a fan for that, but I think what they should do is not limit
duping like the rewards that people are going to abuse and not help the game.
However, here's how I think it can be done in a way that isn't really abusable: is that make a not limited tier where it's like once a quarter, if you put whatever they set for hours, 10, 5, 20 hours in that quarter, you will get a like subscriber tier reward, and then they just need to make like 8 items, and then every year they just add another 4. They will.
All right, hold on. Let me quickly log in all my characters and have them sit there for 10 hours and do nothing, and I'll just wiggle the mouse.
That is
as well as that's also like not very incentivizing as well for like people to do proper stuff in general, because that reward's not particularly cool. When they're like, here's a guardian, you're like, all right, I'm gonna actually go and test. Like when it's a big deal item, people will try to do stuff more.
Yeah, how about like when the golem comes out or the geo that it's not given to just Evo members, which is usually what it's like, Evo members and content creators. Maybe give it to everybody so they find the bugs for it and report them. Like this is the PTU. Who cares? Who cares how many people have it? And guess what? What if some of those players are content creators, but they don't know it yet, and they only have one viewer and they just started, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I considered.
And how do you start when the most important thing that's happening of that day, let's say, you can't even use because you don't have access to it? It's ridiculous.
Just to touch on that very specific instance, when I first started streaming Star Citizen, the only reason I had, back then, the only reason I was a subscriber was because that way I would be on the even playing field with all the other Star Citizen streamers, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's not fair.
That was the only reason.
Yeah.
I
again,
thought
a content creator problem. But
yeah.
Like these
but
also
a everyone player problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you used to have everything on the PTU. Didn't that used to be the case?
Sort of.
Like you used to have like all the ships and stuff and
sort of, and then they started monetizing it. To PQ access is $10 and it just started getting weird.
Oh yeah, the phases where they made it like you have to be like the $10,000 concierge to get into phase 1 was,
or spend $10. Yeah,
or $10. It's but yeah, I get that point. I just think adding like an additional sort of item rewards that you can earn just by playing the PTU as well is a good, like, just a tree of items that you can work through.
Yeah.
Similar to how Sea of Thieves again has it. They have their test universe, and it's like you put an hour in a week, you get a reward, and they have like a 200 plus, probably more now, 400 probably now, of weeks of rewards. Something similar to that. It's just, all right, I'm going to put a little bit of my time into the test universe and then get something for it in the main game.
I guess the big this will be my final thought. The big sort of problem that CIG have that a lot of other games don't have in this regard is like they can make some really good incentives for people to do PTU, but because there's a new PTU every single month and it is buggy as all hell, people get bored very, very quickly. And like there is a limit. Like you can start offering people javelins and they'll stop. Like it's just you've got to test too much, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a good point. Is they just focus on this, and they try to do focus testing, but
it just doesn't work.
They actually put up the EPTU like they said they were gonna. Then they could do more focus testing incentives.
Yeah, or I mean, I think that every launch should be done on the EPTU for a new patch, and then the progress is saved.
Well,
but they reserve the right to be like, yo, this is a disaster. So here's live. If you want to play that, you can. And your progress will be saved there as well. And that'll be that, right? So
I mean, that's what it sounded like they were going to do, because with like the 4.0 and then 3.24, I thought that was a good move. And I thought that's how they were going to do it before, that they keep the stable branch and then they'll release the next patch as like progress is going to stop on this one and then you continue on the new one. But you can fall back to the stable branch if you want to, if it's completely broken.
Yep. All right. We'll probably leave it there, Pepicwalrus, because we've got over 10 minutes. So thank you very much for calling in, as always. We appreciate it a ton. And for the good convo.
I know.
And hopefully we get to see you at a Sitcon eventually.
Yeah. Well, I won't be there, but I said if a sitcom was in Florida, I still wouldn't go.
I'll just get a photo of Mike and I'll just carry it around.
Yeah. All right.
I'm excited to hear what the next guy has to say. He's a guildie, and he tastes good with butter. So farewell.
Catch you later.
That's right.
I know. All right. Sergeant Lobster is next. Welcome, dude.
How you doing, Lobster?
Hello.
Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry to meet.
All good.
All good.
How are you guys today? Thanks for having me on.
We're good. Thanks for coming on. What do you want to talk about?
So I mean, it was a pretty good week from a Star Citizen perspective. I mean, 4.1 has been pretty fun, I'd say, despite some of the issues with like hand mining not working at all. Do you guys get a UI when you try to hand mine stuff?
Yes, but you have to use a yellow tractor beam, yellow multi-tool. You're using the subscriber ones. Don't do that.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Okay, cool. Yep. Good to know. I guess using my subscriber gears was.
And they say I don't play the game.
Who says that?
Knows all the workarounds.
Yeah.
But no, 4.1 has been really cool. It's like it's interesting because like I was just flying around Microtech looking for Copion for Wikelo and for Rayari, and it's it's interesting because like it feels cool in that I feel like I'm playing a proper MMO, like just doing farming stuff.
We found the one guy doing Rayari missions, Croncy. We found him.
Well, spoiler alert, I was going to complain about them in about a minute.
Oh, go for it.
Just no reputation, like no rewards for doing them. They're like turning them in. Like, how is there no right click in the inventory screen turn in feature? Like, how did this come to live without that? It's like, but yeah, it's like the event, like the B plot, right? This is the B plot.
This is the Z plot, apparently.
No, I think this is the A plot. Like the Rayari stuff is the A plot.
Oh, really? Right, but it's just like there's no reason to do it because like money is useless.
Well, the reason, you're correct. The reason is purely lore right now.
Yeah,
there's no in-game reason to do it. The lore reason is supposed to be that people are not they're recloning, like they're not respawning, and Rayari essentially. I'm loving the lore right now. I got to get back into it, and get CIG to do more of it in the game. The Addison basically said, "All right, we're going to let you guys do a bunch of research because people are not respawning." Right, yeah. So Rayari are now trying, like they're going gung ho, and that's why they need
Copion horns impact respawn. But yeah, it's just like I'm super big into the lore. I'm like very into like the RP side of Star Citizen and just doing stuff just to do it. But even so, it's like why would I do this Rayari stuff? I don't need any money because I did one supply or die mission. So I'm like good on UC until 1.0 comes out.
He did one, guys. Balance.
So yeah, good economy there, and there's no rewards, there's no reputation to grind. So it's like, why am I doing this? But either way, it does feel cool to like see people like flying around the planets. Like we actually have a reason to go explore the planets now, to go harvest this stuff, which I think is really cool. Because planets so far have been pretty useless, honestly. I mean, it's really cool that they're in game, but I mean, there's just no reason to go fly around them.
Are you so? You must be RPing if you're only going. Like, are you actually searching the planets for this stuff?
I mean, I'm spamming the tab key, but no, I try not to use like the finders or anything like that. I try to go like just actually go around and do them. I mean, like I'll go in like the general direction of like SMO 13 to find Copion, but I try to play as Chris intended for me, I suppose.
Now, just quickly, you've said like 4.1's going great this week. And to be fair, I have played 2.5 hours of Arena Commander this week is all I did. So my question, did you do any Align in mine?
So I've tried it. I mostly play like by myself or just like with a couple other people. I don't play with like a big org that has like 9 Polarises or anything like that. So I've been mostly doing like just quick like loot runs. Like I'm going to go in, I'll go into the alignment facility, I'll try to grab a couple things and then escape with my life. And it's been really cool. The locations are sweet. They look awesome. I like the little tablets where you can find lore. That's kind of cool. I think it's a big win in terms of an event. I like that it's not like a dynamic event that's just temporary. It's just like a thing in the verse now. Really cool. Because it gives orgs something to fight over. It gives, there's actually like valuable items that you can get from there that you need to get away with, right, for Wikelo or for Rayari, right? There's actually stuff to fight over. I think that's awesome. I think it's a big win.
Yeah.
The only reason I asked is because like most people that I know have only been trying to do Align on mine, and it's been an absolute disaster for the whole week. So it is good to hear that the rest of 4.1, at least from your perspective,
it's cool stuff.
Is going great.
I'm like one, like, because I just mostly do like small group stuff. I play and I like to do more like immersive RP. I don't like try to like metagame or anything. So I'm like one patch behind. So like right now I'm doing CZs. And it's been pretty fun, right? Because I didn't really do them before because it was just like a chaos war zone, like Line of Mine is right now. But I just play one patch behind and get the content then when it's not as crazy, just because I'm not like a power game or anything. But monthly report, all good stuff. I think dynamic weather is for sure going to come this year, and not because I want it so bad, but because they talk about it every month. I mean, it's like more likely to come if you like the engineering, because like you guys said earlier. Thinking about engineering and the work is crazy. Right.
How long have they talked about fire in our ships for?
True.
Just to play devil's advocate.
That is relevant. That is relevant.
It may not
but at
be
least
coming.
at least in that instance, that's like part of a package of like features.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, something else might be stopping it. This is just rain. We're just waiting for raindrops to fall out of the sky.
Right. Yeah.
And I know saying
true.
we're just waiting for raindrops to fall out of the sky is a bit silly,
So
but
cool.
yeah.
I want rain on.
I want the
so
jungle.
Yes.
I want the jungle.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
To go back on engineering, like it hurts my mind to think about how much work they need to do to update the ships, to get it working, the system in and of itself, and then dial it for fun. And like you guys talked about earlier, so I won't recap, but it's not even on the test preview yet. So I don't think engineering's coming in 2025, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
It sounds sweet, but it's just not.
Has it been almost a year since we had the first engineering like experimental mode Arena Commander, right? It was like it was first half of last year, I think.
Yeah. I didn't even really try that. Every time that I hop in, there's nobody there. There's nobody to play with. Nobody does it. So it's like I never even really got a chance to do it other than just kind of looking around the C2 or whatever it was. Yeah. I'm excited for 4.1.1 coming out into BTU. I saw the sneak peek that was looked like asteroid bases in Stanton. I guess maybe that's a 4.1.1 feature. I mean, I think the asteroid bases are really fun. They feel like a World of Warcraft like raid, or not a raid, but like a
kind of like a dungeon. Like the ones in the ones in Pyro feel very much like a small enclosed separate thing, like almost instanced.
Yeah, they're awesome. It's cool.
Sort of location to do missions. Yeah.
Yeah, you get into the space combat when you're going there, and then obviously there's turrets, you EVA, and get some. It's very cool. So I'm excited to have more of those. Hopefully in Stanton soon. And then I wonder on the roadmap, there's space combat missions that are still listed as tentative. New set of ship combat missions featuring improved scenario design and refined storyline. Obviously, those didn't make it into the 4.1 build. CIG hasn't really talked about these at all. So I'm wondering if those are going to be a 1.1 demo. I mean,
perhaps maybe that's why Rayari feels off or something. Maybe it's something related to them.
Could be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like protect our cargo haulers that are dropping off this important stuff. I don't know. Data runners.
I would love, like, I don't know. I've been playing since it was a hangar module, and I would love to have more interesting space combat missions. Because first of all, I haven't seen any bounty missions that are in space anymore. Those seem to be just now planet side, and I would love for like the NPCs that I'm hunting down.
They're still in space. Just depends on where you go.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah, yellow.
Maybe I just haven't grinded them enough because I get bored.
That's how we got the 1200 Quantanium for Wikelo was VHRTs around yellow, man. Just
that's actually really cool.
four SCU at a time, guys. It was fucking brutal.
Yeah, I guess I'm just not that
psychopathic. I understand.
Yeah.
Yep. I understand. Not many are.
But I would love
there's some of us are.
I would love to have NPCs that are like doing something other than just like standing around waiting to get shot. You know, they're like transporting stuff. Yeah.
They do also mention in the monthly report, like EVA NPCs. So.
Oh, really? Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So obviously, like that aspect is obviously like a tech limitation, but they've always been able to do other stuff. They just didn't move towards it. So.
Right. But yeah, I mean, overall, not to take up too much more time and let you guys get to other callers. I'm having a really fun time with 4.1 when everything is working. Of course, I mean, still some hangar issues, which are really frustrating, but I think it's a really good patch. I think this content push, playability push is. I don't know if I want to say it's working just yet, but I can see that we're getting there, which is cool. I'm really excited, and like now I'm going back to my friends who have shelved Star Citizen, saying like, "Hey, now might be the time to jump back in and see what's going on here because there's a lot of fun to be had," which is cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, awesome. I guess just last things to wrap it up. Mike, are you going to go to the Florida Bar Citizen in July?
I don't think so, but
yeah, I know it's a little bit far for you here in it's actually in my city, Tampa, which is cool.
It's not bad. It's 4 hours, same as like going to Orlando. So if I was to go, like I've been to the Orlando one, there's no reason not to go to the Tampa one. It's just it's falling it's falling in a time where I might go visit some family, so I don't know for sure yet.
I gotcha. Yeah, that guy who I wish I remembered his name because I've been on this thing like 3 times. But he has like an RV that the interior is like a constellation with like 5 computers to play Star Citizen in. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, but anyway, I'll wrap it up and let you guys get to next callers. And thanks for having me on. Thanks for the show. I love watching this every Sunday. So, see you guys in the verse.
All right, bro. Catch you soon.
We appreciate it. That's right.
All right, and our next caller is Frosty. Frosty, what's up, dude?
Frosty, how we doing?
Hello, hello.
Howdy, howdy.
What do you want to talk about?
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Citizencon, stuff like that. So, I did say in a previous ATC that it would be a time down, probably online Citizencon. So I was right. I think for this one, it's just going to be an update on features that we already know, like engineering, all that stuff. It's just going to be basically where it is now, where they want it to go. No dates whatsoever. It's just going to be here it is. We've shown you. Stop asking us, basically.
That's why I expect it to be more like the 2022 rather than 2021. Because 2021 was very like, you can tell that this stuff was for a real Citizencon, right?
We get none of this. We don't get to watch this guy eating pizza in the background, dude.
True. But we don't get a deafeningly loud hornet every 30 minutes.
I will say, though, this section of the show in 2023 was pretty rough to watch. In 2024, I had so much fun watching this. I think they improved on it so greatly, and it was super good this year. So, like, I'm half memeing, like, making fun of this, because at points it was obviously, like, awkward, and it's like, all right, you guys are stalling for time. And then at points it was, like, really, really funny, and it really added to the show. And it was like, we're not going to have that this year, which is, like, a bit of a bummer, but
Yeah, with the, like, tech previews and all this stuff we just said they was going to do, I think it's more likely you'll see it around Citcon. I don't know, and they'll throw in an engineering one or, you know, something like that. But another part of Citcon, I think 100% they will start Squadron 42 marketing at Citcon. They'll bring back, I don't know, probably like a brief room style episode, like an hour long, talking about some stuff. Probably they'll continue that for a few months, for about 6 months, do like normal advertising that you see, TV, you know, YouTube, Twitch advertisements. And I do believe, you know, from what I think, it's still going to be coming before Invictus next year. It's not obviously people are gonna say it's gonna be you know, that's a coping thing to do, but from a business standpoint and looking at it on the timeline, it's probably the best place that they could be and probably release it. And obviously Benoit said that they want to finish it out this year, and if they do, they're not going to leave it until later in the year when they've, you know, major companies, you know, are moving around their games to avoid GTA. And obviously PC doesn't come, you know, originally like this year. It will come next year. So the later they go next year, if they don't finish it this year, then the more in the red they'll be, you know, getting towards the PC version of GTA 6. So what was you going to say? Sorry, Croncy.
So you said you think Squadron before Invictus next year, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the problem with that is what we were talking about earlier, which is it doesn't really fit the timeline, actually. If that was the case, then you would 100% be doing a physical Citcon, and that's your release date announcement. That would be roughly 6-8 months before that, like, potential release date. And that's roughly how long it does take to go through the entire campaign process of starting to release all your regular advertising, starting to get the hype built up. If they didn't do it at Citcon if they went to release, the time would be too short, which is kind of like what we were saying, where it's like, that's why we do not think it's going to be a first 6 months next year, more likely to be a late 6 months.
Yeah,
and
maybe like pre-orders.
They would probably.
I mean, just looking at it how it is, you know, because of obviously, like I said, people want to avoid the PC version of GTA releasing, and that will come late next year.
No,
I'm saying
GTA has essentially already been confirmed to been delayed to next year, and
PC will
the PC version is not expected for multiple years until after the release of the console version.
No way.
I mean, we don't really know if it's delayed yet, but
it's delayed. If it wasn't have delayed, they would have announced the release date. I think it was a month ago during I don't remember which convention it was, but it was one of the big ones. At this stage, it's too late. If they were releasing like Christmas this year, they still have like a very, very small amount of time to do that. So
with GTA, we'd normally find out with their first what's it called, the financial quarterly thing that they do, which is either this month or next month. That's when we'll know when it's actually delayed. But it gives them 6 months of advertisement and marketing for Squadron. That's all I'm saying. For my timeline in my head, that just fits. But yeah, it could get delayed.
That's what I'm saying.
That
would fit if they did a live Citizencon.
Yeah, obviously
because you would push for it there. You're going to get a lot more eyes on it, a lot more hype around it if you announce it at a live event.
Nobody's
which is why
watching the
what
digital
I think
version.
Is gonna happen,
yeah,
exactly.
Only
what I think is going to happen
probably
is that it won't be announced at a Citizencon at all, but it will still be announced at a live event, whether that be something like the Game Awards, something like
Gamescom's mentioned in chat right now. It could be that
Gamescom, that sort of stuff is a lot more likely.
That's before SitCon though, so
yeah.
Gamescom next year. I don't know.
Yeah, that's all speculation anyway.
But. Yeah.
We'll just have to see, but that's how I picture it in my mind. So, it's.
Hey, you were right about them not doing the live Citizencon at all. So
that means, by my estimation, that must mean that you're 100% correct about everything you say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's some of that I've thought about since last Citizencon. It's just what else can they show us, other than a date? Because obviously they should know when it comes, but obviously it's CIG. They've said it multiple times in the past, but it's something that they do need to get out the door. It's something that they do need to push out, because it's obviously it's taking a toll on them right now, especially with the PU, and they need to get that sorted too. So, and obviously they're giving themselves every bit of leverage with what they're doing this year as well to finish it out. So it's basically on them. If they want to do it right, then they need to not mess it up.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but that's me done.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Frosty. We'll catch you soon, and thanks for the call as always. And I don't know if I just want Citizencon. I just want Squadron out. So whatever happens the soonest is what I want. Get it out the door. All right, bro. Catch you.
Cheers,
bye. And honestly, GTA on PC as quickly as possible, because I'm not buying a console for it.
Way more mad at Rockstar than I am at CIG right now.
True. All right, let's bring our final caller for the day. Snugs, are you there?
How you doing, Snugs?
Hello. Classic, gotta mute the stream. Right. I just have a quick thing. One, SitCon, I guess sad that it's not going to be in person, because I was kind of hoping to go this year. But I also would rather go to the SitCon where it's the mass hype, Squadron 42, cool stuff, maybe some celebrity appearances, because they've always teased us with that. And
we were so convinced last year that Mark Hamill was going to go on stage. We were
Didn't Jared say something to all of you guys?
Jared played us like a fiddle. Like he was going for it the whole time, and 100% he knew it wasn't happening.
That's a shame. And then referrals, I guess, nice to see Morph come on. I feel like somebody like him, we need to put him in the game. Like, as we get closer to new systems. Here's what I'm saying. Like, okay, Terra's about to release. 6 months before, start up a dynamic event. Hey, I'm such and such character and I'm the head architect of Terra Prime. We need a huge influx of construction materials to the new, you know, the new system. Drop them at the Terra Gateway.
That's
you know, like
even,
just stuff like
that's even
stuff
too
like
much. Like I would love to just like possibly. I mean, I think that would be fantastic and honestly deserving of how much, you know, actual reward is there. But the for me, like, just if I was in his position, just a simple, like, you know, the building, a building, like a beautiful architecture building in a place of his choosing would just be named after him. Yeah, something like that.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I have kind of a question. It's my reason for coming on today. With the big influx of new content, if you will, I think something I've been thinking about a lot recently is like, I have some renewed hope this year that CIG are actually going to make a good game at some point in the future. I know that, you know, there have certainly been some fumbles with some things, but I think a lot of the content broadly has been good. Obviously, some issues with implementation and like not thinking stuff through all the way and whatever. But like, I think I'm convinced that they can make a fun game with depth to it. And I don't know. I'm just curious to hear what you guys think.
Oh, I think I know where you're coming from. Like for the longest time, focusing on tools for as long as they did, meant that you could do them but not do much with them. Right? When you start focusing more on content like they have the last few months, there's things to do, right? There's events to play. There's Mike's breaking. There's like reasons to log on other than just to try a new feature, right?
Yeah, and I think stuff like Aligner Mind, like I think they did a cool game loop. They did a good game loop, I think, in that. And I think that gives me hope for the future when, you know, we get past like meshing, look at the engine, you know. So I don't know.
What makes you feel this way? Because you are aware I feel the exact opposite.
Interesting. Okay. I think that I don't know. I enjoyed.
I don't feel the exact opposite, but yeah, go ahead.
I would say I enjoyed Supply or Die for the most part. I think it led to fun. They did an event that led to fun gameplay. That led to me and my friends like feeling like I want to log into the game. I want to play.
Yeah,
I'm having fun for the most part.
Supply or Die was the best thing they have done yet, in my opinion. Minus the absolutely brain dead rewards for it, like the just insanely broken rewards.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, dude, day one of Supply or Die, I pulled 4 full hull Cs of copper and corundum out, and we all made, you know, hundreds of millions of credits doing it.
Yeah. Like the just thoughtless part of that. Let's ignore that and look at it. I would agree with you in that case. I severely struggle with their insurance systems, and I don't see. That's what I struggle with, and that's where I will probably always struggle with until they're implemented in the game. Again, Tier 0 implementation of everything. I don't want to harp on it. It was more good than bad in 4.1. So it's not worth mentioning, but the future is what I'm the most scared of because it doesn't seem like they're making a game to me.
Yeah,
it seemed like they made one really good event.
Point. I see your point. But I think Align in Mind, I know it's not an event, and I think people keep saying it's an event on like Reddit and Spectrum and stuff, but you know, the game, I think the way that they're going is going to be full of sandbox activities. And I think if this is an indication of what they think a good sandbox activity and game loop is, like that's what gets me excited, because I think it's a good sandbox activity. You know, and
until you break it down to the point of, okay, you're earning that Karenite to earn those ships through the barter, but then once you've earned it, do you go back to it? Unless they keep adding rewards to it. Do you is there ever a reason to go back? Do you ever, like, I am so, it's a hill I'm gonna die on, and people get upset, and I literally don't give a shit. It's if you're not needing to recycle stuff, you don't go back to play the content. So if the content is super enjoyable, that could be a thing and that could be true. But if it isn't made repeatable by the other systems that are going on in the game, or it's being undermined by the other systems that are going on in the game, then you have a problem. And that's where I'm struggling to come up with the same feelings that you are, because I look at it as you got designer over here who's like possibly working like with the marketing team rather than the economy team, and then you got designer over here who's definitely working with the economy team and is undermining the and it just seems they're all disconnected. I would feel the way you feel if it seemed like everybody was cohesively working towards one common goal, which should be Star Citizen 1.0, but everything that I'm seeing is just doing enough to either get us to buy spaceships, which is the first thing that comes to mind there. But I think the most, excuse me for hitting the mic, the most time that they're spending and the most effort they're putting into is just trying to get us in game and play a bit, and to enjoy what time we have in the game. So, the events, and I think that their focus is on just making it fun for little bursts of time, and that none of that is necessarily coming together in my mind that are going to lead to this like cohesive, enjoyable experience yet, which they've been talking about for 2 years, and I keep trying to find, and I'm struggling to see it. They're doing a better job at like getting me to like, hey, if I want to complete this event as a minor, I can, which I love. But yeah.
One thing I was just going to say was like one reason why this mission might still speak to a lot of people is because it is probably the most repeatable thing we've had in the game that's enjoyable, that is not just go down to bunker, shoot, leave bunker, get UEC, right? But it does still have the problem that you were talking about still exists.
Yeah.
It's just extended, right?
Yeah.
So people will enjoy this for a while.
For longer than normal.
For longer than anything else we've ever had.
Maybe CZs,
but it will still have that problem.
CZs have a similar feel to them. I thought CZs were fantastic too in that front. But the reward at the end, if insurance is involved, it can't be lost, and you got like a ton of steps in both CZs and Hathor that lead to rewards that you never go back to them. So I almost feel like dumbing them down slightly, and that'll make them more repeatable. And then the rewards could be, I don't know. I'm not a game designer, but I could just tell you how I feel, and that's how I feel. It's like I'll do the CZs until I get the stuff, and then I'll never do them again. And is that a good thing? I don't know. Where MMOs, I would like farm the rewards and sold them to players and use that money for other things. Like that, where's that? I guess is my problem.
Sure. No, 100%. But I think I look at stuff like Wikelo as an example of, maybe it was Xylo who posted this week in response to something on Spectrum of like, we have a ton more planned and a ton more we want to add to Wikelo. And I think I see a world where Wikelo's just one of many people, people who are giving you missions and bartering. And like, I love that we can barter for stuff now. I think that's so great. And even just little things like seeing him pop up in the MFD with the voice line that's on repeat every single time you show up. I feel so much more engaged with what I'm doing just from that. And I think that's where I look at it positively of like, I'm excited about that direction that they want to head in and are already executing on it. It's not like we want to make more immersive stories when Dave Haddock gets on stage at Sitcon.
So
like,
Elliot, just to stop you real quick, Elliot has a little issue with your pronunciation of the new mission giver. So let me just put that.
Sorry.
It's fucking Wikelo.
Yeah, Wikelo.
Wikelo. Okay.
It's
Wikelo.
There you go.
You've got to say the F word beforehand. That's his title.
Very important.
Yeah. Like speaking of Wikelo, like I do appreciate and love just how much character they put into a character who has like 5 voice lines.
Yeah.
And he's like already my favorite character. Like so, like just all those lines have been so well written, so well performed. So if we get more of that, also like as a surprise, because this was pretty much a surprise, yeah, like that's gonna help the content feel a lot more interesting.
Yeah, his Emporium, everything. Like, there's so much good there. I just hope it's not, all right, well, we have to keep building on it because you've already gotten the other, like, we talked about it earlier about, like, spending points on older rewards, all these things. And MMOs last for 20 years. And you don't want an MMO, you don't want content in MMOs that you just pass by and never do again. Unless they're like timed, similar events to what we're experiencing now, which is totally fine. Like supplier die, stuff like that. Those are the ones that, like, I was there moments, and those are important as well.
Yeah.
But the content that you put in the game, you don't want to pass by it. You want to consistently come back to it. A lot of people go to WoW. I shouldn't speak for this is how MMOs work, because WoW is different than Ultima Online, is different than EVE, is different than Albion, and all these other MMOs that I played. But that's what I don't want. I can only speak for myself. Is I love the games that you can come back and repeat. At least certain Wikelo content, Hathor, CZs, definitely feel like end game MMO content, and that's the kind of content that is and should be repeatable, while as the beginning stuff is usually the stuff you pass by. So, to be clear, but yes.
Cool.
But even then, farming animals or something. Yeah, would be a thing.
Last sentence, Snugs, before we head off.
I think my point is they definitely have a lot to figure out. That's clear. Like insurance, all that, 1,000%. I'm totally there with you, Mike. But I think they're starting to take steps in the right direction, in my opinion, with the stuff that they're doing. And I disagree with CIG. We gotta praise the good when the occasional bit of good comes, I guess.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, and I feel like I always try to. So it's
100%.
Yeah, it's just I don't feel the same way you do, so we had that discussion.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. All right, well, I appreciate the discussion.
All right, man.
I appreciate both you guys for what you do. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, of course, Snugs. Catch you, dude.
Catch you, mate.
Bye now. All right, that is Snugs, and that was the show. So thank you for watching, everybody. And I said to Croncy, let's go for like an hour today, and we had one of the longer episodes that we've had. The Morph jumping in and being like a second.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Obviously, I thought that was really important, so we took like half an hour with Morph, and that was where our time would have been. But yeah, so I think this was a pretty good episode. It was really good to hear his perspective because I think it's important. But I think we also hopefully got the perspective of people that are a little bit lower on the ladder than Morph as well.
Yeah.
There. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anything you want to say before we head out?
Yeah. Happy 800 million, everyone. Let's go.
They did some financial report apparently, and they lost a lot of money
I don't
last
think
year.
I don't think it's the normal one though. So
It's the UK one. It's like the super, like, if you have to be like a lawyer to understand what's going on.
Oh yeah. So, I want the like regular report that's like easy to digest that they usually do every year.
Yeah, that they morph to make make themselves look good.
Oh, for sure. But I still want to know about like certain decisions they made in 2023 and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, that's usually the end of the year, which we didn't get one last year. Did we?
No, it's normally the start of the year. It's normally the start of the year. So we got it. We got the 2022 one at the start of 2024.
Yep. Yeah, it is what it is. I don't care personally too much, but I just want a game, man. I just want game. I want what Snugs wants. That's it.
I think everyone does.
I also wanted to not forget
to answer the call.
That's right. Thank you for watching, everybody.
You queued me up too fast.
Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next time.